Hello guys, welcome to this video. So I'm going to be looking at the ICT paper 3 to May June 2024. For this video, I'm going to concentrate on the spreadsheet aspect. Okay, we begin. You have been supplied with the following source files, which are these, right? Giraffes are endangered species only found in parts of Africa. You will analyze data on giraffes that have been rescued, tagged, and returned to the wild. Task 1, evidence document. Create a new word processed document. Make sure your name, center number, and candidate number will appear on every page of this document. Okay, so first of all, let's go create that and then ensure. So we create that and ensure that our name will appear on every page. So you can have your name either in the footer or header of the document. So I'm going to have my name here, comma, NG156, which will represent my my center number, and then 0004 will represent my candidate number. The next line says, save this document in your work area as J32 evidence underscore followed by your center number underscore candidate number. So I'm just going to copy this, okay, and then go right there, and then go to file, and then go to save as. I'm interested in saving it in my source folder here, so I'm going to have the name here underscore NG156 underscore 0004 as my candidate number. Okay, so let me just better write this in capital letter just like I used to. Okay, so I'm going to save that right there. You will use this as your evidence document during the examination. Okay, good. So this done. All right, so task 2, spreadsheet. Open and examine the file j32giraffes.csv. So let's go open that. Where is it here? Giraffes. Is it giraffe? Yeah, giraffe.csv. Okay, so this is the file here. So what I'm going to do is just to click over here and then double click in between the column letters just to see the labels fully, right? So if you look at this file now, you will see that you probably will use it as an array to perform some lookup function, right? Good. So this file will be used in steps 2 and 3. Do not make any changes to this file. Open and examine the file j32sightings.csv. So okay, so let's go open that. Sightings, let's sightings here. Let's get that cracking. Okay, so another thing I'm going to do, I will select everything and then double click in between the column letters and then see that everything is showing. So it's time to examine. So as you can see number of sightings here. You can see number of sightings in 7-day period. So I think this is looking like one of those we've done before, maybe either February or May, June 3-1 thereabout, right? So okay, so save the file j32sightings.csv as a spreadsheet with the file name giraffe underscore followed by your center number underscore candidate number, for example this. Okay, so let's go ahead to save it. So I'm going to go to giraffe. Where's giraffe here? And then file, and then I'll go to save as, browse, and then I'm interested in, okay, I think I will save it here. Okay, so it's always good to save it in spreadsheet, in a spreadsheet format, right? Even if the question does not ask you to do so, I think it's better to do that. Let me see. Okay, they never mentioned it here, but always have that habit, even your evidence or something like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back right there And then I think the name will be, let's see, followed by your center number. Okay, so center number, so will be ng156 underscore 0004 as my candidate number. I'm going to just save it right there. Okay, so rows 7 to 25 will show the number of sightings of the tagged giraffes in each country for 1 week in February. Okay, in February. So 8 to what? Let's see again. 7 to 25. So this is 7 to 25 here. Okay, so it's going to show the number of sightings of the tagged giraffes in each country for 1 week in February. Rows 28 onwards show the details of all sightings for this week. Okay, so this is the details for all those sightings. So as you can see, this is in the month of February. So everything happened in the month of February. So all these sightings here all took place within this date in the month of February, and each date was recorded, as a matter of fact. Okay, and then you can see code, you can see tag number for giraffe, you can see the species, what type of species, and then the country it was located in, West Africa, then the status, what could be the status, and then you have photographic evidence if there was any photographic evidence for that. Okay, so these are some of the little information you have to take in, and then so you can have an idea on what to do when the questions come. Now, place your name, center number, and candidate number center aligned in the header. So let's go ahead to do that. So I'm just going to click on this layout, page layout. Then I'll just go up here and then have my name, Ikechukwu Anolefo, comma, NG156 0004 will represent my candidate number, and then I'll click inside my page right here. Okay, so it has to be center aligned, and then place the text created on followed by space the automated date. So let's first of all do that, and then I'll continue reading. Basically, where am I supposed to place this? Place this followed by this. Okay, automated date, the automated date, yes, space, then the text at followed by space, then automated time in the footer. Okay, so they did not mention whether it's center aligned or left aligned or all that. So just go to the footer. So I'm just going to keep it at the left side. So created on, then I'm going to have space. Let me see the next thing. Space automated, the automated date. So I'm just going to go back right there. Automated date. So I'm going to just click on header and footer here. What I need is current date. So I'm going to just click on that, and then I get space, then the text at. So I'm just going to have at, and then space one more time, followed by space, then automated time in the footer. Okay, so I'm going to have automated time, current time, yes. Okay, did I have space? Did I put space there? So let me just put space right there. Okay, so that would be that. Did I make a mistake or something? Why is this showing time like this? Okay, there must be something okay, I put space in between here, which is not supposed to be so. Oh, okay, that space I put messed it up. Okay, thank you. I didn't take note of that. All right, so I think that's about it. So if you succeed in doing this, you're going to get yourself about 3 marks. So number 2 says, place a replicable formula in cell D28 to look up the species. So let's find D28 first of all. So let me just take it to normal. And then D28, I have D here, and then 28 right there, okay? So place a replicable formula in cell D28 to look up the species using the code and the external file J32 giraffe.csv for the array, okay? So we're going to make use of the code and then the external file for this, right? Good. So in this particular spreadsheet here, we have the code here. So we're going to use this code, this particular cell, as our lookup value. So of course, the type of lookup function we're going to use here will be the VLOOKUP, because our lookup array. So if you look at the code here, if you go to our array here, you see that the data, they are all arranged in a vertical form, right? So this is our code here, which is in vertical, and then all other indexes, they are all in a vertical form. Okay, so that's why we're going to use the VLOOKUP function. Now, so have equals, and then we're going to use VLOOKUP, which is suggested. I'll double click right there. And then the next thing you want is the lookup value. Of course, the lookup value will be the B28, and then comma, our table array will be the J32 giraffe. Now, what I'm going to do here is to select everything here. It's not really necessary, because where I'm looking for is actually in the third column, which is the species. But anyway, I'm going to select everything anyways, and then take my index and take my column index as 3, because I'm looking, I want the information I'm looking for this particular code is in the third column. So if you count 1 code, category 2, and then species, so that's why we are choosing 3 right here. So comma, we're going to have false. Now when you choose false, you are going to, Excel is going to return the exact value, okay? So if there's any disparity, Excel is not going to return that. So that's what we mean. But for in this case now, exact value false is the most appropriate option to take, right? Good. So we can enter, and then it's going to return this. So for the code where it is N3 in the lookup array is going to match with the species of West African giraffe. So if you go back to your table array, if you see N3 here, N3 is here, and then you see that it's going to match the species here. Okay, so that shows you that your lookup function or the use of lookup was successful. Okay, that's for number 2. So that is done. Number 3, place a replicable formula in cell F28. So first of all, let's locate F28, okay, which is here. Okay, to look up the status using the code and the external file J32 giraffe.csv for the array. Okay, so we're still going to use the same code, and then we're still going to use the same table array, right? So the only thing that might change here will be the index number. So if you look at here, we have what we need here is actually status, right? In this particular F28. So if you go to a table array, wherever the code is actually N3, the status, which is here, which is in this column, is going to be critically what? Critically endangered, which is here. So we want to return this in F11 in this particular table array. So what I'm going to do here, I'm not going to go on to type the if you look up again, I'm just going to copy this guy here. I'm going to copy the formula, exit one more time, and then go in here, paste that formula. Every other thing is correct. The what's it called? The code is correct, which is our lookup value. The range for our table array is correct. Returning an exact value is correct. The only thing that we need to change is the index number, right? Because we want to want it to return what is in the 6th column, right? So I'm gonna write 6 right there and then enter. Now, if you go back to your table array, you will see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the 6th column is going to return the value which matches N3, which is the code here. Okay, so we expect to see critically endangered, right? So let me just expand that so you see critically endangered. So that tells you that that's correct. Okay, all right, let's select that. So number 4, replicate the formula or the formulae entered in steps 2 and 3 for all sightings. So we're going to go right there. You want to replicate the formula here. Let me just double click right there and then do the same thing here. Go to the bottom right of the selection of that cell and then you double click when it changes to black. All right, so that's number 4. We're done with that. So number 5, place in cell B3 a formula to count the total number of sightings for this 7-day period. The total number of sightings for this 7-day period. Place in cell B3. So let's go to cell B3. Oh, sorry. So B3 okay, so the number of sightings in 7-day period. Okay, so we're going to use the count, actually the counter, because the counter will count the number of text and values basically. So you find out that the dates here will represent the number of sightings. So I'm just going to hold down my control and shift key and then press the arrow down. So that will select basically A28 to A97, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to just press F4 or function F4 to lock it. So that will count that, right? And then supposed to return, it will return 70, return a value for us, okay, which is 70. So that will represent the different days that's the number of sightings, which will represent the number of sightings for this particular species. Okay, number of sightings in 7-day period. Yes. Okay, so that's for that. Okay. Now number 6, place in cell B4 a formula to count the total number of sightings for this 7-day period. Okay, so let's first of all locate B4. Let's locate B4. B4 here, right? So I always use the name box here to locate. So once I click, you look at the name box to be sure that you're in B4, right? So it says place in cell B4 a formula to count the total number of sightings for this 7-day period, okay, where a photograph 1 of critical endangered species was taken. So which means photograph was taken of what? Critically endangered species. Okay, so in this case now, let's see. It means that for the status is we have critically endangered, we have endangered, we have vulnerable, we have the rest here for each of the species and countries, right? And then here we have also photographic evidence. So what the question is actually asking us is, within that 7-day period where photograph was taken and also critically endangered species was recorded. So as you can see, what we're looking for is where status is critically endangered, and at the same time the photographic evidence is yes. Okay, so which means that we are going to use the count ifs for this particular question, just like we did in somewhere in paper 3-1 or of May, June, or February, something like that. Okay, so here, so I'm going to click right here. So I'm going to have equals. So I'm going to use count ifs, right? I'm going to use the count ifs function here. Sorry. Okay, so the criteria range 1, that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to select here, hold down my control and shift key, press the down button. So that will select the range here from F28 to F97. So what I'm going to do, I need to lock them. So I press F4 or function F4 to lock them, right? And then comma. So Excel is nice enough to ask us about the criteria. So for this particular column, the criteria that I want is actually critically endangered. So you're going to write it as a string, right? So you want to write it as a string here. So I'll write critically endangered here. So that will be the criteria for the first range, right? So comma, so the second range now, criteria range 2, right? So it's going to match it up with if there's any photographic evidence, or if the photographic evidence is yes, right? So I will hold down my control key one more time, and then the shift key, and then press my down arrow key to select everything, and then press F4 to lock it. Okay, and then comma. This time around, what's the criteria? Yes. Where the photographic evidence is yes. Okay, so that's what Excel will do now. So Excel will go and search within this particular range where the text matches, or where it sees critically endangered. It's going to match it up with this particular range where it returns yes, and then it's going to bring out the number of times those were encountered. Okay. All right, so I'm going to press enter and then see that it encountered about 12. So if you go here and count where status critically endangered is there, and then it is also yes, and then compare them for every critically endangered species, there's yes for the photographic evidence. So if you count them, you're going to see that they're about 12. You can manually count, right? Good. So you may see critically endangered species which has a photographic evidence of no. Excel is not going to return that. I don't know if there's any one here. I can't see anyone. Okay, I think there's one here. So as you can see, we have one here. Excel will not return that. Okay, so that's that. Just want to give you a preview of how that works. Okay, so that's for that particular number 6. If you have any input, please, you can leave a comment down below. The other students will be able to also gain from your input. Okay, so number 7, insert a new row between rows 5 and 6. Okay, so let's go to rows 5 and 6. So we have rows 5 and 6 here. So what you want to do, you want to go at 6, row 6, right? Click on row 6 and then insert. So when you perform an insertion, it's going to do it on top. So that particular row becomes 6 this time around. Okay, so place in cell A6 the text critically endangered. So let me just copy that. So I'm going to have A6 here, critically endangered, paste it right there. And then number 8, place a replicable formula in cell B8 to display the number of sightings. So first of all, let me locate B8, B here. This is B6 actually. Okay, so B8 right here. Okay, place a replicable formula in cell B8 to display the number of sightings of a critically endangered species in this country, right? Replicate this formula for each country. Okay, so sightings of critically endangered species in this country. Now let's go to the detail of our, so we're going to return this for this particular country here, Botswana, right? So but when you get to the country here, which is in this column, you're going to see different countries, and then you're going to see the status, critically endangered. So what we're looking for is for each country. Where's Botswana here? I think Botswana. Is that Botswana? The first one? Yes. Botswana. What we're looking for is if there's Botswana right here, or any country per se for this particular set of countries, okay, the sighting where we have critically endangered within, if you compare the country with the status, that's basically what we're looking for. So which means that tells you that we will still use the count if for this. Why? Because they say that we should display the number of sightings. Number of sightings. They did not say calculate numeric total or something like that. So we are counting this time around. Okay, so because one of the students was telling me it's sum if or something. No, so we're going to use count if. So equals count if. Okay, sorry, count ifs this time where we need more than one condition, right? So the first condition will be the criteria range. First criteria range will be here. So I'll hold down Control Shift arrow down, okay, and then make sure you lock that because you don't want that to change, right? Comma. So criteria 1. So what criteria are we looking for? So whenever it encounters any country, content of this particular cell in here is going to produce the name of the country and then matches it with the second criteria, which is the status. So I'm going to select the status, which is the second range here. So what is the criteria? Let me lock it first of all. So what's the criteria? The criteria is a string, so I need to put it in a quotation mark. Critically endangered. So if you're wrong, you need to be able to type endangered. Am I correct? You need to be right. You need to check your spellings to be sure that you're correct with your spelling. So if you're correct, if your spelling is wrong, it's going to return a wrong value, right? So this is what we need here. Okay, so let's enter and see. So for Botswana, for the country, there's no critically endangered giraffe in Botswana, basically, right? So let's replicate. I think the question says also that we should replicate this formula for each country. So let's replicate it for each country. So I'm just going to replicate here. So you see that for this particular Cameroon, we have about 2 cases of critically endangered species for Cameroon, right? And then for South Sudan, we have about 4 cases, right? So if you check here, within critically endangered in the status column, you will see that you're going to encounter about 4 cases in South Sudan. Critically endangered 1, 2 for South Sudan. This one is Niger. Is there South Sudan? South Sudan 3 and 4. Okay, so we are correct here. Isn't it that South Sudan? Let me be sure. Down here, critical Cameroon, Niger again, Ethiopia, and then we have Cameroon. Okay, so Cameroon is something like B2 or something. Let me see, Cameroon 2. Okay, good. So if you look at it, you find out that our formula is very, very correct because it compares the country with the status, and then wherever it sees a particular country, it will check whether it has critically endangered. If it's not, it will record it as 0. But anytime it encounters any critical endangers, it will count it as 1. And then if there's any other one it encounters, it will count it as 2, and so on and so forth. Okay? All right. So here we're done with number 8. So let's get to number 9. Format the top of your spreadsheet so that it looks like this. Okay? Make sure cells A1 to B1, make sure that cells A1 to B1 and A6 to B6 are merged. Okay? So let's take it one after another. So let me merge A1 to B1 and then come back and do the rest. A1 to B1 here, so let me just merge it. Okay, the other one is A6 to B6, A6 here to B6 here, merge that. Set the font size of the text in row 1 and 6 to 20 points. So I'll hold row 1 here, hold on my control key, select row 6, and then make it to be 20 points. I'll probably make it bold so that it looks like what I have right there. What's the next one? So let's look at the everything here. So 2 and 2 and 5 should be in a bit. So I'm going to just pull it in. That's fine. And then 5, pull it in a bit. Have country and this center aligned and bold. Center aligned and bold. That should be enough. Okay. This particular one, it needs to be also center aligned, but this time around I want to wrap the text. The same thing with this one, wrap the text, and then okay, so it's been wrapped. So need to, oh sorry, not this one. Move this one a little further in. Let me see whether this will bulge actually. Move it further in. Further in. Oops. Okay. So I actually want to make this one to fall in. Let me see if it falls in. Probably bring it down a bit. Let me see if it fits with this. Yes, giraffe. Okay. And then these ones, I need to bring them down. Bring this place down, and then also wrap it here. Right align it, make it to be at the middle. Wrap this one too, make it to be at the middle, and then right align. Let me see how it looks. Okay, so I probably might have to go in a little more. Okay, to make it fall in the third time, 3 lines here. Yeah, photograph down here. Okay, so we have this. So here, I think this should be centered, right? Yes. What am I missing here? So this one is already centered, but here is, let me see how it looks here. Okay, sighting has to fall down, but okay, good. I think I'm fine here like this. Okay, number of sightings is looking like what we have here. So here, countries, they are all right aligned. So I'm just going to make them right aligned. And then this value also, sorry, this one is center aligned. Okay. So I think I'm done with it. I don't know if there's any other thing I'm missing. I don't think I'm missing anything, right? Yeah. So save your spreadsheets. So if there's anything I missed, just leave a comment down below. Let the rest of the students learn from that. Okay, good. So let's move ahead. So number 10, print your spreadsheet showing the formula or the formulae. Okay, so let's go make sure that it shows as formulae. Okay, so what I'm going to do, you go to formulas, go and show formula here. Now when you show formula, ensure that all formulae are showing very well. As you can see here, this part is cut off. So what I can do is simply select all my sheet, go in between the column, any of the column letters, double click there, and every formula will show appropriately. Okay, so it comes handy most of the times, right? So let's see what it said. So make sure that it is in landscape orientation. So let's go ahead to, okay, so first of all, let me show you something. Now, if you look at this particular formula here, it is important don't close your array, your table array yet. Just make sure you finish your exams before you close that, because if I go ahead, this is my table array here, if I go ahead to close it, oops, I don't want to save anything. If I go ahead to close it, if I find out that my formula becomes absolute reference, it changes from relative reference, so it becomes longer. That will make your printout to be more. Okay, so if you look at it here, it goes from C to user to Mr. ICT and all that, so it becomes longer. But make sure when you open the table array, it helps for the formula to be shorter. So ensure that that is the case for you. Okay, so if I go back right now here, you see that it becomes shorter. Okay, so I'm just going to go back, double click anywhere in between the letters, so it shortens out for me. Okay, all right, so we're going to go to file, go to print, and then make sure that we take landscape. Let me put off my internet for some reason, because I'm connected to work, work software. Okay, so let's take landscape. See that the grid lines are not showing. So in fact, I'm going to go in there, introduce the grid lines. Let me be sure, let me see the question if they say anything about grid lines. All row and column headings are displayed. All formula are fully visible. So there's no mention of grid lines, but anyways, I'm going to add the grid lines. So it's optional this time around. So I'm going to add grid lines for my own printout. Okay, you can choose not to, because the question never strictly talk about grid lines, but I think it's always necessary to do that, basically when the question didn't mention either to print without or with grid lines. Okay, so now we have it in landscape. What's the next situation? The row and column headings are displayed. The row and column headings are displayed. So you want to go to page setup, you want to go to sheet tab here, and then make sure you click on row and column headings, and then you close that. So that shows you the row numbers and column letters right there. Right, so what's the next thing? All formulae are fully visible. So ensure that all your formulae are fully visible, so you can go ahead to print. Of course, I think the examiners, they are actually interested in the formula, not basically any other thing. So like this one here, I don't think when it comes out during examination, you might just throw it away and then put basically the areas that have values or labels, right? But to be on the safer side, you can put everything that you've printed out, because now you have about 12. Yeah, okay, right. So that's for that number 10. That's for number 10. So for number 11, it says select rows 1 to 7 inclusive. Okay, so 1 to 7 included, and only the rows between 8 and 26 where citing took place. This is quite similar to what we have done before, right? So 1 to 7 rows, 1 to 7. So let's go see that. So you need to remove the formula. So let me just go remove the formula, and then go back and then double click anywhere in between, just to make sure that all your data snaps back to normal. Now we're going to select, let me take this back to how it was. I think this is how it's supposed to be. Yes. So let's select from 1 to 7 here, And then the question says, and only the rows between 8 and 26 where a sighting took place. Oh, okay, good. So between 8 here and 26, if you check here, most countries don't have any endangered species sighting. So some of them are 0. Ethiopia, okay, sorry, Kenya, Malawi, Mozambique, and all that. So the ones that are 0, there was never any endangered species sighting, right? Good. So what we're going to do here is to actually filter this. So I'm going to select everything here with the heading. You want to go to home, and then you want to get to filter, and then you're going to filter it by number of sighting. So I want to uncheck 0 here, and then okay that, right? So which means that what the city we should select is from here to here for this particular question. Take a screenshot of the method used to select these rows between 8 and 26. Place this screenshot in your evidence document. Okay, so the proof of that will be here. So just click here, and then this is the window you're going to have. So I'm going to just screenshot this particular place. So probably from here to here maybe, and then have it in your evidence. So which step is this? This is step 11. Okay, so I'll have step 11 evidence. So you're going to paste it right here. Okay, this is fine. Okay, so that's my evidence. Okay, print this selection showing the values. Only print this selection, showing the values. Okay, make sure that the printout fits on a single page. The printout is in portrait orientation. So let's go ahead to do that. So what I'm going to do, I just want to select only this particular range. Then you want to go to print. You want to go to print, file to print, yes. So you want to select print selection, so that this is what you have, and then make sure you select portrait. It has to print in portrait. So let's do the rest of it. In portrait orientation, yes. The row and column headings are displayed. Okay, so we have the row and column headings right there. The row numbers and then the column letters. We have them right there. And then the contents of all the cells in the selected rows are fully visible. Okay, so they are fully visible. I don't think we're missing anything here. So you can go ahead and print your work. Okay, so you can print a PDF, or you can actually export it. You can actually go ahead to export such that you're going to have a PDF file of this particular printout. Something, oops, no, I made a mistake here. So I think, let me go back right there. If you want to have a copy of the PDF, I think when you export, you may have to go to options here. You may have to go to options, and then what you want is actually the publish what. You want to select a selection here, and then okay that, and then I'll publish, and then replace the existing one with this. Okay, good. So selection will be the one that we printed. So most of the times you leave this like this, and then when it's time to print, you can just start rolling them out. See that this one is not actually showing the way it's supposed to from our description. So you can go ahead and then make some changes, or you can just go ahead to print straight up, because for some reason when you do that in PDF, I don't know why it does that. So you can go ahead and actually print straightforward. Oops, it's not even showing very well here. So I think it needs some element of arrangement, something like that. Okay, I don't think anything goes bad here. So we can go back and then go to print preview. Okay, that shows pretty well. Okay, so you can go ahead. So the way it's showing now is the way it's supposed to show. Basically, this tag giraffe sightings. Okay, so always try and examine your printout before you go on to do so. Okay, so is there another thing here? So I think that's about it. So in the next video, we're going to look at the file management as well as the web design aspect of this paper. Okay, thank you so much. If you have any contribution, please leave a comment down below. I will really appreciate that. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.